As a kid, Lent for me was fun. It was a game of, can I do it? Can I give up ice cream? Can I give up TV? Can I give up junk food? And what was more fun about it was when we got to tease people for when they couldn't do it. We would publicly shame each other when we would find my dad trying to hide his empty McDonald's bag in the trash can, or we would tease each other when we, forgot it was Lent. In a sense, we all love to play this kind of game where we win and then we rub it in somebody else's faces. It feels good, right? Gives us a little kick in our step, makes us feel good about ourselves. This is a normal human tendency, and in this sense, it's fine. But in today's gospel, Jesus examines this human tendency of thinking we are better than others. It shows us that even though we can do it, it doesn't mean we're safe. We are still liable to judgment. So in the gospel, Jesus underscores 3 conditions that will make one liable to judgment. 1, those who are angry. 2, whoever says raka. And 3, whoever says you fool. Any of these will make you liable to judgment. Now, this doesn't mean that being angry at Paul for not washing his dishes makes me liable to judgment. But it's about a certain kind of behavior. In this time, those phrases, those words were derogatory terms, and you use them for someone who was less than you. You were above them. The martyr Theodore of Heraclea believes that these 3 conditions reference one's own sense of superiority. This is where we look down on somebody with disgust and contempt. However, this is not feeling superior because of class or intellect. It's because more about deriving a sense of superiority over holiness. Those liable to judgment are those who think they are holier than others. So in a sense, Jesus is talking to us today about what appears to be a holiness contest. The context of the gospel supports this. Matthew structures this section of the gospel as a series of antitheses. He presents the normal everyday teaching that everyone has heard. For instance, you shall not kill, and whoever kills will be liable to judgment. Jesus validates this teaching, but radicalizes it. He says that it is not enough to refrain from killing, but if you harbor contempt for another, you're still liable to judgment. This is a challenge to the Pharisees and the scribes, because they walked all around thinking they were better than everyone else. But we, as Christians, are called to do more, to not just appear to do the bare minimum, to not just kill people, but also not to judge them as less. Brothers and sisters, as Christians, our calling is never to think we are better than another person. This is embodied by one of my favorite saints, Catherine of Siena. Catherine was held with great esteem among the religious-minded people. She was so holy, she fasted, she had spiritual ecstasy, and she prayed all the time. However, she also had a bad reputation, because for Catherine, she surrounded herself also with sinners. Prisoners, public sinners, prostitutes, everyone with a bad reputation. The religious-minded people shamed her for associating herself with these people. One of her main charges is a young aristocrat named Francesco Malvadi, and he lived an actively sinful life, pursuing every sort of pleasure he could possibly get. When he met Catherine, he was transformed and joined the Christian life. However, this is not just a one-and-done thing. In reality, conversion takes time, and so Francesco kept slipping up. He kept falling back into his moral depravity. On one occasion, He refused to see Catherine when she returned back to Siena. He was so ashamed of what he had done, again. She then wrote to him lovingly, asking him to come and see her because she missed him. So he came back, and Catherine's companions looked on him with disgust and scorn. He wasn't stable. He's not cut out for this. What did she do? Just shush them away and then welcome Francesco back. See, her religious-minded companions are doing all the right things, but they still had a sense of superiority, and they looked down on Francesco like the Pharisees and the scribes. But Catherine's righteousness rose above it. How was she able to do that? For Catherine, prayer wasn't simply about just saying the rosaries, fasting, obviously doing the office. For Catherine, prayer was a place for self-discovery, to know thyself, to understand the inner workings of why I do the things and think the things I do and think. And prayer also was a calling out to God for help. She knew herself intimately, and she knew that only God could help her. So this Lent, it's not about, can I do it? It's about, can we allow God to help us so that he can do it?